Hi. So this is a bit of a spontaneous video, but I wanted to make it because I had breakfast with a friend of mine, with a colleague I used to work with when I was at Deutsche Bank. And I noticed that as we were catching up and I was hearing about her life and we were, sharing stories, and I noticed that the parts where she was quite tough on herself were actually coming from her introverted side. So I thought a video about introvert extrovert would be quite interesting because it's something that I discovered um, after my banking days. Whereas had I known it during that career, it would have made a very big difference to my life. And I know that a lot of business schools uh, equip you with your Myers Briggs, foursome, basically the group of four. And one of the group of four is introvert extrovert. And as you do the Myers Briggs, you by answering the questions are things like, when you arrive at a party, um, are you likely to be the first one to leave, kind of thing. So I'm being very vague about it, but and introverts tend to be, yes, the first ones to escape from there. And basically, it's very interesting to know whether we're an introvert or an extrovert, because introverts derive their energy from recharging their batteries by being on their own, essentially, or in a very low noise, low stimulation environment. Whereas extroverts derive their energy from people. And if they're not around people, around noise, around a bit of action, they actually feel quite depleted. So it's really the polar opposite on that. And unless we know that, we could be quite hard on ourselves by thinking, I kind of could have done better here, and I could have done more here, and I could have done. When actually it's not a matter of doing better or more. It's a matter of how we function best and extracting from ourselves the best bit. So if we are an introvert, we need the wind down time. It's a non-negotiable. We need to leave the party and go and recharge our batteries so we can function again. And if we push ourselves, we basically push ourselves into health issues, migraines where the mind is going on a little bit too much, or ulcers, or things that will come up in the body, backache even because we're not properly allowing the support that we need to come through. Back issues have to do with support, so just for you to bear that in mind. But if we're not supporting ourselves, it's going to come up as well, because the support, the essential support that we're after, is the support from life, and where we feel connected with life, and we're offering ourselves and we're receiving from life the support that's correct. Because something very interesting happens. And the minute we begin to take good care of ourselves, the minute we are focused on, I remember Cheryl Richardson called it extreme self care, but the minute we are focused on what we need, life tends to support that and reward that. And it's pretty, it's almost the opposite of what a lot of us have been brought up to, the way we've been brought up, because we think sort of, especially as women, we think by giving and that, but no, it's actually the other way around. Life rewards us looking after ourselves, and I believe that comes from the fact that we we are housing our spirits. This the part of us that is eternal, and the part of us that is here to create our most magnificent life, and the part of us that is connected to everyone, everything, and life itself. And if we house our spirit with respect, we look after what our spirit needs. We give our spirit what gives it pleasure. We surround our spirit with what feels good. Our spirit requires organized, orderly, clean environments. It requires love and kindness. And when we move in the direction of supporting our needs from that perspective, life rewards that. It rewards that by making life feel more synchronistic and more flowy and just much more pleasant. So anyway, going back to introvert extrovert, once we figured out the Myers Briggs, which end of the spectrum we are. And we don't even have to do a Myers Briggs test. We can kind of just see what feels good to us. If we need to be out and about and surrounded by people and that makes us feel good, we get back home and we're full of energy, then we're probably more on the extroverted side. And if we feel drained after even like being with one person for a long time, then we're more on the introverted side. And it doesn't mean we can't cohabit, because essentially what usually happens is introverts are attracted to extroverts and extroverts are attracted to introverts, and that's quite natural because two introverts would never leave the house and two extroverts would just have a full house all the time. And I think probably the two together might get on each other's nerves eventually. So I think it works better when it's a combination of the two, or when we bring out the balance within us, in which case we can be with both. So the point is to not criticize ourselves for which we are. And if we feel we need to be stimulated all the time and we need to be out and about and we need to, I have a friend who describes someone who needs to always be sitting in the vitrine, in the sort of main section of the restaurant, then this is what gives them pleasure. And it's important to listen and to acknowledge what allows us to function at our best. And once we figure that out, then we get to monitor our needs and where we need to be and when we need to leave and what kind of work we do even, because it really filters into every area. I mean, if you're an introvert and you're sitting on a trading floor, then after a while that's going to get quite hard. You're surrounded by people and by noise all the time, and that can be quite taxing on the body for an introvert. So I think it's just very important to bear, and unless the introvert is going home and taking care. If the introvert is hanging out 12 hours in this sort of noisy environment and then continuing on with dinners and then continuing on with entertainment all weekend, that introvert will suffer physically sooner or later. And so just watch what you are, encourage what you are, be kind to what you are, allow it to be. This is what you are. I have a very dear friend who is a total extrovert who found herself for one of the holidays on her own, not with her family, and she had to, sitting at home or in the hotel was just like a punishment. I mean, she had to find a way out, being in the malls or being anywhere where there was people and action. So respect what you are. And love the parts of you that are perhaps more gentle and more introverted, and in fact can go deeper perhaps in thoughts and ideas. And a lot of the artists tend to be introverts, and a lot of the thinkers tend to be introverts. There's nothing wrong with that. I know society and the schooling system encourages extroverts and people who are contributing with their ideas, but usually the quiet ones, kind of observing the scene, have very deep insights, and when they do decide to share that, it's quite interesting. I mean, it's very interesting. So I think just really respect what you are and love who you are. Embrace the part of you that's introvert, the part of you that's extrovert, the part of you that enjoys this. I mean, I talked about two extremes here. I talked about the fully introvert or the full extrovert, but most people are both, and a lot of people need both. So just, respect what you need at which time. And also sometimes it's cyclical. Sometimes there's an inward period when you're thinking of, when you're cooking up your creations, they tend to be more inward orientated. And then there's a moment when you're out and you're networking and you're doing your thing. So respect the cycles. And I also find that there's a cycle that works with life itself, where in the winter we tend to go inwards, like the trees. We tend to sort of, like the trees and nature itself, we hibernate. And then with spring, with more light, with more sunshine, with the blossoming, we tend to blossom too and into the spring with our creations. So respect that cycle as well. And start monitoring yourself. Start monitoring the moments when it's too much, or the moments when it's too little and you need more. And follow that energy. Remember, energy is intuition. And when we're following the energy, we're following our intuition. And when we follow our intuition, amazing things come through us because we're guided by that energy, by the intuition, which is our wisest self. So anyway, the introvert extrovert video And I will put a link that takes you straight to a Myers Briggs test so that you can try it for yourself and figure out what you are. So I hope this is helpful. And by the way, I'm growing the sort of social media presence. So I'm all over the place currently. I'm creating a page on Facebook, and I'm also on Instagram, and I'm still on Twitter. Obviously, I love Twitter, and I'm on Facebook as well. Just myself on Facebook, but there will be a page we will gather a community of people who want to be inspired and inspiring, and who want to connect with other like-minded people who are going on this journey of living our truth and being the full version of us in the way that feels really good to us. And so moving away from anything where, it's a performance to really what it feels like for us. And from that place, we get to touch the world, and we get to share our best, and we get to live our most amazing life, that it inspires others as well along the way. So more to follow on that. Keep an eye out on social media everywhere, wherever you are, I'm there with inspiration to keep you tapped into this life of miracles and amazing things. Okay, I wish you a lovely rest of your day. Bye.